भगवतो अरहतो सम्मा सम्बुद्धस्स नमो तस्स भगवतो अरहतो सम्मा सम्बुद्धस्स साधु। So today's talk is about advice to the lay people. Buddha has given very few suttas which are directly referring to lay people. There are 84,000 suttas, but you will find only a bunch of suttas which are there, which has been directly addressed to the lay people. And this is one of those special suttas which has a lot of information about how lay people, what lay people want, how they can get those things. And after acquiring those things, how they can use those things in life. So those advice which is there is a advice which has a lot of wisdom, and it has certain applications in the current life, but also has application in your other life also. So I'll just read the title of this talk, which is Worthy Deeds. This is from Anguttara Nikaya, book of 4, and the sutta is 61, Patta Kamma Sutta. So we are using the Bhikkhu Bodhi translation. Then the householder Anathapindika approached the Blessed One. The Blessed One said to him. So I could not find the other part, what was, maybe it is the standard greeting of the suttas, where the person comes, speaks to the Buddha, and after speaking to the Buddha, like asking how is your health, have you had your food, that is a kind of normal kind of interactions which a lay person would have with a monk. So looking after the well-being of the monk or the Buddha in this case. Then the monk or the Buddha in this case is giving the teaching. Householder, there are these 4 things that are wished for, desired, agreeable, and rarely gained in the world. What for? So the Buddha is asking that there are certain things which are wished for, means I want it. They are desired, they are agreeable, means they are good to have, and rarely gained. Not everybody will have those things. They can see in the current world also, this would be the truth. After 2,600 years also, this will remain the universal truth. One things, may wealth come to me righteously. That is the first thing in the world that is wished for, desired, agreeable, and rarely gained in the world. So everybody wants wealth, because wealth will ease our day-to-day life, and there are many things you can do with wealth. Having gained wealth righteously, one things, may fame come to me and to my relatives and preceptors. This is the second thing wished for, desired, agreeable, rarely gained in the world. So there are many people who are wealthy, but they are not famous. So they may do certain things to become famous. They may kind of go to charities, or they may kind of put themselves in the political scene or something like that. Because after gaining wealth, somebody wants fame. Having gained wealth righteously and having gained fame for oneself and for one's relatives and preceptors, one thinks, may I live long and enjoy a long life. This is the third thing wished for, desired, agreeable, and rarely gained in the world. So if you have wealth and you have fame, then you want a long life. And interestingly, a few days back, I had read an article. In that article, there was a billionaire who was spending some money every year, $2 million, to extend his life. And he has invested $100 million in a company which works for extending the lifespan of a human being. So he is, I think, in his 40s, but his heart is of 18 years old man. And they have this concept of biological age and of a that is calendar age. So you may be a calendar age 50-year-old, but you may be biologically 60-year-old, or you may be biologically a 30-year-old. So they calculate those parameters. So he is spending every year $2 million on himself, one person. So for having a long life. And he has invested in $100 million of his own money in a company which does that for others also. So one would want wealth, one would want fame, and then to enjoy that wealth and fame, he wants a long life. And one more thing I have read a lot about is the Microsoft has a AI in charge. That person also has opened a company on his own for extending the life. So that it's a new thing in the California. So everybody wants to live long. So they have wealth, they have fame, and they have also long life. Then what they want? Having gained wealth righteously, having gained fame for oneself and one's relative and percepted, living long and enjoying a long lifespan, one thinks, with the breakup of the body after death, may I be reborn in a good destination, in a heavenly world. This is the fourth thing, wished for, desired, agreeable, and rarely gained in the world. So the fourth thing may not be universally true now, but if you go to a Buddhist world, they do a lot in their old age, which is to kind of gain merits to have a good destination. So in India, if you go to Burma, Sri Lanka, or Thailand, you'll find that they have a lot of things, concepts and procedures and things they do. So to ensure that the person has a better life after even passing away. These are the four things that are wished for, desired, agreeable, and rarely gained in the world. There are, householder, four other things that lead to obtaining those four things. What four? Accomplished in faith, accomplishment in virtuous behavior, accomplishment in generosity, and accomplishment in wisdom. So the Buddha is saying that those four things you want, but there are four things which will help you gain those four things. So those four things which you need to do to gain those four things which are very rarely gained in the world. Those are accomplishment in faith, accomplishment in virtuous behavior, accomplishment in generosity, and accomplishment in wisdom. So he's giving a detailed explanation also. And what householder is accomplishment in faith? Here a noble disciple is endowed with faith. He places faith in the enlightenment of the Tathagata. Thus, the Blessed One is an Arahant, perfectly enlightened, accomplished in true knowledge and conduct, fortunate. So why the word fortunate is used is he's fortunate enough to have found the path and the knowledge. So that is the reason the Buddha is said to be fortunate. Knower of the world, unsurpassed trainer of the person to be tamed. So for a person to be tamed means that the person is also ready to accept the teaching. If a person is not ready to accept the teaching, then he will not be able to get trained. Teacher of devas and humans. So one thing about this is teacher of devas and human is that many people say that it is only possible to progress spiritually when you are in a human form, which is not the case. Even if you are a deva, there is a certain amount of progress you will be able to do. Certain places they say that in suttas they mention that after hearing to the Buddha they were sotapannas. Certain times it has been mentioned as Sakdagami. So I think you as a deva you can become a sotapanna or a Sakdagami, but then you may have to get reborn as a human being and experience that meditative states or the wisdom to be get a final release. But there are certain stages of awakening which as a deva you can attain. The enlightened one, the blessed one, this is called accomplishment in faith. So he has faith in the Buddha. And what is accomplishment in virtuous behavior? Here a noble disciple abstains from the destruction of life, then abstains from not taking what is not given, abstains from sexual misconduct, abstains from wrongful speech, abstains from liquor, wine, and intoxicants, the basis of heedlessness. This is called accomplishment in virtuous behavior. This is the precepts, the 5 precepts. So that means that virtuous behavior is maintained when you are following the 5 precepts. And what is accomplishment in generosity? Here a noble disciple dwells at home with a mind free of stain of miserliness, freely generous, open-handed, delighting in relinquishment, devoted to charity, delighting in giving and sharing. This is called accomplishment in generosity. And one other way of looking at generosity is that when you give something, then you get back. That is also the Buddha is saying that when you are giving certain things, then that is the thing which you give back. So if you are giving, say, generosity, then you will be kind of rewarded with generosity. And one of the suttas, the Buddha says that in Anguttara Nikaya itself, there is a sutta where the Buddha says that when you are giving, say, food to certain people, so they say, Ayu Vanno Sukhan Bala. So that is, you get a long life if you have food. You have health, good health. You have beauty. And you have strength. So all these things which you have with food, when you are giving a dana of food, then you will get all those things also in return. So in the same way, when a person is generous, then he will get generosity in return. And what is accomplishment in wisdom? If one dwells with a heart overcome by longing and unrighteous greed, one does what should not be avoided. So one does what should be avoided. Means that one does something which you should not be done. So if one has longing and unrighteous greed, then one does something which one should not be doing. So one does what should be avoided and neglects one's duty, so that one's fame and happiness are spoiled. So one person, he is acting with greed, then what would happen is he will not follow his duty, and his name will be spoiled and his happiness will be spoiled. So this is the first hindrance. You have heard about the 5 hindrances which are there. So the Buddha is explaining about the 5 hindrances which are there in the context of our daily life. If one dwells with a heart overcome by ill will, by dullness and drowsiness, by restlessness and remorse, by doubt, one does what should be avoided and neglects one's duty, so that one's fame and happiness are spoiled. So when those 5 hindrances are present, then what will happen is there will be more possibility of breaking the precept, because one of the suttas I kind of mention a lot is there is a reason for the ignorance, and the reason for the ignorance is this 5 hindrances. So once the 5 hindrances are there, then the possibility of ignorance is there, and because there is ignorance, then there are other things in ignorance a person will do which will break more precepts. When a householder, a noble disciple, has understood thus, longing and unrighteous greeds are a defilement of the mind, he abandons them. When he understood thus, ill will is a defilement of the mind, he abandons it. When he understood thus, dullness and drowsiness are a defilement of the mind, he abandons them. When he understood thus, restless and remorse are a defilement of the mind, he abandons them. When he has understood thus, doubt is a defilement of mind, he abandons it. So when he gets to know that those things are defilement of the mind, then one will abandon that. So that same sutta which I was referring to before, it starts the right journey starts by meeting the right people, the noble people. So they will be able to give you the right kind of noble teaching. When they get a right noble teaching, then the faith is developed. When the faith is developed, then the truth is known, and then your journey will start to the right path. So when somebody knows that this is a thing which is something which is harming us, then one would abandon it. So one other way of explaining that the Buddha says that, say if there is a sweet or a bitter thing which is given to you, but it is told that this is poison, would you consume that? You would not consume, because you know that this is poison. So if there is a bitter or a sweet portion is given to you, and it is told that this is medicine for you. So even a bitter medicine you will take if it is going to help you. But if it is a sweet and it is also a medicinal properties are there, then you will definitely consume that. So that in that same way, when you are knowing that this is something which is harming you, this is poison, this is something which will not help you achieve your goals, then you are inclined to abandon those things. So these are the 4 other things that lead to obtaining the. When householder, a noble disciple, has understood thus, longing and righteousness, greed are a defilement of the mind, and has abandoned them. When he has understood thus, ill will, dullness and drowsiness, restlessness and remorse, doubt is a defilement of the mind, and has abandoned it, he is then called a noble disciple of great wisdom, of wide wisdom, one who sees the range, one accomplished in wisdom. This is called accomplishment in wisdom. So that is how one accomplishes wisdom. There are the other things, 4 things that lead to obtaining the 4 things that are wished for, desired, agreeable, and rarely gained in the world. With wealth acquired by energetic striving, amassed by the strength of his arms, earned by the sweat of his brow, righteous wealth, righteously gained, and the noble disciple undertakes the 4 worthy deeds. What for? So the Buddha has told what people desire and how to acquire them. And then Buddha is saying that with wealth acquired by energetic striving, amassed by strength of his arms, earned by the sweat of his brow, righteous wealth, righteously gained, the noble disciple undertakes 4 worthy deeds. What for? So one wishes for certain things. One strives and achieves those 4 things. And then what does he do with those things which he has achieved? What does he do with his wealth? And what does he do with his things which he has acquired? Here, householder, with wealth acquired by energetic striving, righteously gained, the noble disciple makes himself happy and pleased and properly maintains himself in happiness. So the Buddha is saying that when you have acquired your wealth righteously and in the right manner, then you first make yourself happy. And that is a very interesting thing because the Buddha is one of the sutta, the Buddha says that, see, if you have acquired wealth and you have wealth, but you are not spending that wealth for your comfort, then it is like somebody who has a bullock cart going in a afternoon, walking behind the shaded bullock cart. He could have been in the bullock cart and been comfortable, but he's needlessly kind of putting himself in the difficult situation of walking in the sun. So that is the way the Buddha is explaining that if you have the means, then you should use it to first make yourself comfortable and happy. He makes his parents happy and pleased and properly maintains them in happiness. He makes his wife and children. Over here it is mentioned his slaves, but I think the concept of slaves was a little different. They had contract workers in Buddha's time. So certain places it has been mentioned that there was some contract that was given. So those were kind of people who had given contract for a year or 2 years at a fixed salary, which will be paid after those 2 years, or paid in advance, and the person will work. So, but the concept of slaves was not so prevalent at the time of the Buddha. His slaves, workers, and servants happy and pleased and properly maintains them in happiness. He makes his friends and companions happy and pleased and properly maintains them in happiness. This is the first case of wealth that has gone to good use, that has been properly utilized and used for a worthy cause. So he makes himself happy, he makes his parents happy, he makes his wife happy and children happy, and his employees and his friends. So he kind of makes everybody happy in this circle of family. And after that, the second is again with A wealth acquired by energetic striving, righteously gained, the noble disciple makes provisions against losses that might arise from fire, floods, kings, thieves, or displeasing heirs. He makes himself secure against them. This is the second case of wealth that goes to good use for a worthy cause. So the Buddha says that first you use for your own happiness. Second, you use some of that part of the wealth to secure your future. So there are certain things which may happen, which may kind of take away your wealth. Like there is a fire is there, or there may be thieves may be there. The kings may be displeased. So you have to have savings. So you have to put aside some wealth for tough times. You have to save and kind of secure your money which you have acquired. So that is the second thing which a noble kind of disciple has to be doing. Again, with wealth acquired by energetic strivings, rightly gained, the noble disciple makes the 5 oblations to relatives, guests, ancestors, the kings, and the deities. This is the third case of wealth that has gone to good use. So these are the 5 kind of offerings they make. That is when the relatives are there, they help the relatives when it is needed. If somebody comes to their house or there are guests, then they kind of take care of those guests. They kind of do dana for the ancestors. So they take care of the ancestors. The king, I think they mean that by the king is the taxes. So whatever is owed to the king, that has to be paid. So the Buddha is also warning in some other sutta also that you should not skip on your taxes. So you should pay what is there, because you cannot displease the king. So we know a lot of jokes about IRS and tax man and all those things. So the Buddha is also warning that you should pay what is due to the whatever tax is there, and the deities. So in this way, the deities has been mentioned over here. In other sutta also, the Buddha has mentioned that you have to kind of take care of your ancestors, but you have to take care of your Kuldev. Kuldev is a concept in India. People would understand in India the concept of Kuldev. Kuldev is a kind of a god or a temple they have for the family or the clan which there is there. So there that thing which is there, that obligation which is there, or that offering which is there, the Buddha has said you should continue doing that. So because in the modern times, the Buddhism concept of Buddhism has kind of been changed, and a modernized version has been mentioned, where there is no kind of concept of devas or deities or kind of other entities. So, but the Buddha is saying that that is also one of those offerings which has to be done. Then, what is the fourth? Again, with wealth acquired by energetic striving, rightly gained, the noble disciple established an uplifting offering of alms. So this is the fourth thing, which is the uplifting offering of alms, an offering that is heavenly, resulting in happiness, conducive to heaven, to those ascetics and Brahmin who refrain from intoxication and heedlessness. So who are settled in patience and mildness, who tame themselves, calm themselves, and train themselves for Nibbana. This is the fourth case of wealth that has gone to good use, that has been properly employed and used for a worthy cause. So the noble disciple sees that the who they are giving the dana to are very kind of well-maintained and practiced for the striving of Nibbana. And then they offer that dana to the correct monks who are doing the correct things. So that is the fourth case. These householders are the 4 worthy deeds that the noble disciple undertakes with wealth acquired by energetic striving, amassed by the strength of his arms, earned by the sweat of his brow, righteous wealth, righteously gained. When one exhausts wealth on anything apart from these 4 worthy deeds, that wealth is said to have gone to waste, to have been squandered, to have been used frivolously. But when one exhausts wealth on these four worthy deeds, that wealth is said to have gone to good use, to have been properly used, to have been utilized for a worthy cause. So these are the four things you want when you have how to gain those things, and having gained, how to utilize those things. So the Buddha is saying, and there are some verses are said by the Buddha, and this is, I think, it is not in poetry, maybe in English it is not so well, but I'll just read it. I have enjoyed wealth supported by dependents and overcome adversaries. So I have enjoyed wealth supported by dependents and overcome adversaries. I have given an uplifting offering and offered the 5 oblations, offerings. I have served the various virtuous monks and self-controlled celibate ones. I have achieved whatever purpose a wise person dwelling at home might have in desiring wealth. What I have done brings me no regret. Recollecting this, a mortal remains firm in the noble Dhamma. They praise him here in this life, and after that he rejoices in heaven. So maybe this is Anathapindika who says these verses. It has not been mentioned, but from the tone of this verse, it feels that it is Anathapindika after listening to the Buddha's teaching. He says, I have enjoyed wealth supported by dependents and overcome adversaries. I have given an uplifting offering and offered the 5 oblations. I have served the virtuous monks, the self-controlled celibate ones. I have achieved whatever purpose a wise person dwelling at home might have in desiring wealth. What I have done brings me no regret. Recollecting this, a mortal remains firm in the noble Dhamma. They praise him here in this life, and after that he rejoices in heaven. So this seems to be said by the Anathapindika, and he rejoices in the words of the Buddha. So this is a very good kind of explanation of the worldly Dhamma that the Buddha is explaining. So is there any questions? Anybody? Any kind of questions regarding this? Yes.
Bante.
Hello.
Everyone. Bante, can you explain what is the accomplishment of wisdom? I could not able to understand it.
So accomplishment of wisdom has been mentioned over here as abandoning the 5 hindrances. So you have greed is there, ill will is there, sloth and torpor is there, then restlessness is there, and doubt is there. Those things, when you are overcoming those things, then you have accomplished in your wisdom. So one sutta which is there mentioned is that when you are doing unwholesome things, that breaking precepts, that is from a body, speech, and mind, if you're doing unwholesome things, then the 5 hindrances come as a result. Because the 5 hindrances are coming as a result, that becomes the basis of your ignorance. So when a person is getting rid of the 5 hindrances, then he is also getting rid of the cause and condition for ignorance. When he is getting rid of the ignorance, he is working towards the Nibbana. So till the level of understanding he develops and lets go of the hindrances, then he is able to progress and get knowledge and vision. And when he is getting knowledge and vision, then he is able to progress in his practice. So that is the basis of wisdom.
Yes, Bante. Bante, I have some more doubts regarding wisdom.
Correct.
Like in some of the text which I have read, wisdom means seeing the links of dependent origination.
Correct.
How can we relate this, the accomplishment of wisdom, with the links of dependent origination.
So as I have told you that the 5 hindrances become the basis of ignorance. Okay. So when you are letting go of the 5 hindrances, then you are also letting go of the ignorance involved in that. So when you are letting go of the ignorance, then you are seeing the first link of the dependent origination. When you are letting go of the first link, then all the other links are also getting given up. So, but this does not happen in a one thing. It may happen in a many kind of layers. So if there is certain hindrances are there, you cannot just give them up immediately. There may be a time that when you understand a little and then you work on it, and then there are certain stages and it becomes weaker. And after you kind of let go once again, then it may become more weaker. Then when you let go once again, that is, it can become more weaker. That's the reason Bhante says that you have to do a 6 hour a lot of time. The 6 hour Bhante kind of equates to the mundane nibbana. So once you let go, do 6 hour, then you have to maybe do 6 hour for a million times. But then you that leads to your super mundane nibbana. That is the cessation. So that way you have to continuously strive, and by striving continuously, you will be able to let go of those hindrances. Once you let go of all the hindrances, then you have let go of all the ignorance. So, but till the level of thing which you have let go, that level of ignorance also you have let go of.
Yes, Bhante. Regarding wisdom, I just like many days back, I used to think like wisdom is nothing but level of understanding of a person. Like, can we call Bhante? Can we relate?
Yes, the level of understanding. Bhante Vimalamsi used to say that whenever we are talking about wisdom, it is also of the dependent origination. That means that how much you understand about that. So knowledge and vision. The vision is the one thing which you see in your own experience. When you are meditating or when you are contemplating certain things, or when you're in your daily life also, if you are having a habit of kind of having the 6 hour going in your daily life, okay? So certain things may happen, like there is a glass you had, and you just it slips and breaks, and then you realize, oh, this is impermanence. Everything is impermanent. And then immediately that thought which comes up, that realization which comes up, maybe become a kind of wisdom. Well, you may know that as a knowledge, but then you realize that that knowledge has, you have more, that knowledge as information has turned into knowledge, because that has been a personal experience. So certain teachers in the forest tradition used to say that this glass is already broken. Once what happened is certain Samanera was working and cleaning the glasses, and he slipped, and one of the glasses fell. So Ajahn Chah was going, I think, walking in that direction, and then that person was very distressed by seeing that he was trying to be very mindful, but the glass got broken. So the Ajahn Chah said that the glass was already broken, because it is impermanence, means that everything has a start and an end. So the end is already there in the present. So certain times some small activity in the day also can give you wisdom. So by keeping this practice going, by keeping your awareness going in your day, you can gain in the day also, not only in sitting. So knowledge and vision is in all your activities when you are gaining insight by seeing it and as a personal experience, not as information. Information you can read from the books. But when you are making it your own personal experience, that is time information becomes wisdom. Okay.
Thank you, Bhante. Thanking you all.
And is there any other question? Yes.
Bhante, I'm just curious, with the using of the wealth in this sutta, how does it complement what the Buddha suggests in the Sigalo Vada Sutta, how we split the wealth there? Yeah. How can it complement?
So I don't remember the exact formula over there. I think Buddha says 1/4 of the wealth you use for yourself. 1/4 of the wealth you reinvest in the future business. 1/4 of the wealth you keep for emergencies, and 1/4 of the wealth you give as donations. That is, if I remember correctly. So that is how the Buddha is saying that you should use one of the part of the wealth for yourself. Okay. Second part is you should also have a insight about investing for the future. So you have to put that. But then you should also have a certain wealth set aside for emergencies. And then you should also have certain amount of wealth you should give as donations to others. So the Buddha starts with what he says is over here in the sutta also, that the parents are there. Okay. Then your immediate relatives. And then you have your employees are there. Then your friends are there. So all those, in one of the suttas, the Buddha is explaining how you give in hierarchy to the kind of community. You give a certain amount to your community. If there is a community affairs are going on, so then you give to the community. Then you have to give your taxes. Then you give donations to the ascetics or monks are there, sannyasis, you give to them. So in that way, the hierarchy, the Buddha is saying that you have to give to donations also. So in every aspect, you are using a kind of wisdom by following the Buddha's advice. So in Sikalovada also, this is almost the same the Buddha is saying. But Buddha is saying in this that very clearly that enjoying of one's wealth or using the one's wealth for the comfort of ourselves should be, you can say that it is the least priority also. If you consider that he is ranking them from the least to the most priority, or you can say that it's the first priority. If one is happy, then one can do things for the others. So one makes oneself happy and comfortable, and then he makes his parents comfortable, his wife and children, and his employees, then his friends. So in this way, he kind of gives to all in this immediate circle. Then he gives to those 5 groups of people the offerings. Then ultimately to monks who are righteous. So that is the hierarchy the Buddha is talking about. But I don't think there is a conflict with Sikalovada over here. Sikalovada has been kind of more known, and it has been like Satipatthana Sutta, you know. There are many suttas which are dealing with meditation, but Satipatthana become a kind of more used and more known. So Sikalovada also has become more used and known in the Buddhist circles. But I think this sutta is also very good sutta, which is kind of giving very practical advice for the lay people.
Yeah, Bhante, I agree. It's very practical. I just kind of remember from memory, I could be wrong. Maybe other people can correct, but the Sikalovada, the 4 portion, like the first one is for our own enjoyment, and then I think 2 portion for investment and 1 for saving for emergency. I don't know if I can correct
maybe,
or not.
because I also don't remember that sutta a lot. I think Sister Khema had taken once the Sikalovada sutta.
Yeah, but I guess my question is like, okay, if it is like that, then you know, for today's sutta, the one where they talk about making provision against loss, that one I'm thinking like buying insurance, for example, right?
Yes.
So then I'm wondering, I always have this question in my head, when we pay insurance, is it for considered investment or is it what do you call saving for emergency?
I think it should be considered saving for emergency.
Okay.
So maybe in an individual sense, investing for oneself could be investing in education or investing in kind of knowledge, or investing in kind of having more equipment or something like that. better maybe computer if you are working from home or something like that, So those things can be maybe considered to be investment in oneself if you are working. So for business people, they know how to invest for the future, like for maybe putting in more plant or equipment or inventory. So in that way, the business person will do for the future. But when a person is investing for the future, then he kind of makes certain provisions which are there. He makes it better, and then there is a more possibility of income also. So in both ways, you can see that it is about 1/4 of the income one should spend, but that is not the case normally in the life, So one lives beyond one's means. So one way, one person explained to me, he was a financial kind of advisor. He explained to me that you can see that the person who is earning in Indian context, he said, 10,000 rupees. Okay. Say the person is earning 10,000 rupees and he's running his family. There is food there, he's paying the rent, and he's staying there at 10,000 rupees. But you'll see that there is another person who is earning 20,000. And he's also running the family. But both of them will say that I have not saved anything. So if you are able to stay in 10,000, then if you earn 20,000, then you have to ensure that you kind of stay within this 10,000 limit and save this 10,000. And this will ensure that you will have a better kind of future. In terms of insurance, if you have insurance that is more required for somebody who is have less income than who has more income, So all those concepts he was trying to explain to me. So that is also a way of thinking that when you are kind of investing or when you are earning certain things, then there are certain part of the income only you are using, and you stay within that income, and then use this other part of that income for investing for the future, for kind of investing in yourself. So then you can kind of do more. One of those things which are popular currently is reading books. So they say that you should read one book a month. There was one colleague of mine who used to actually do that, used to read one book or two books a month. And he used to always give us all those concepts about things which are happening. So those kind of things can be there. It can be investing in yourself, could be time. Some people kind of just read Wikipedia and they have a lot of general knowledge or things about their own kind of things they can gain from that. So in that way, they can invest in one own time.
Thank you, Bhante. Very useful. Thank you.
Thank you. So is there any other questions?
Bhante, I want to ask another question, like Sindhu.
Yes.
The difference between delusion and confusion.
See, delusion is basically used technically over here is taking it personally. And confusion is more akin to doubt, not knowing this is the correct way or that is the correct way. So when you have delusion, means that you are taking that personally. And when you are not knowing what is correct and what is wrong. And you are not knowing what is the right direction to take. That is a kind of doubt which is there. That is confusion. So confusion, doubt are very this thing. But when you are Buddha is talking about, or when we are talking about delusion, Bhante is kind of saying that this is me, this is mine, this is myself. That kind of mind frame or mindset when somebody has, that is the mindset which is delusional. And when you are taking things personally, then everything kind of becomes too heavy also. So if there is a mood is there, when certain people have a mood, they say, oh, I have this mood, leave me alone. And I will not do it. Certain kind of thoughts come. The people have no impulse control, they say. So if they have a thought of going to a movie, they will go to a movie. If they have a thought, I'm not going to work, then they will not go to work. So that thing is, you are taking all those things personally, because that is taking personally, then there are a lot of things which can happen, which go wrong in your life. But when you understand the right context of the thoughts, that these are not me, this is not mine, this is not myself, then you are not kind of affected by it in that same manner. If there is anger arising, then you know that there is anger arising in me. I am not angry. And that difference of kind of viewpoint makes you more able to control that situation. You may kind of let go and not react, and may be able to respond. That's the reason Sister Khema also kind of says repeatedly that we are doing this to learn to respond, not to react. So when you are delusional, when there is delusion is there, then we are not reacting. Reacting. We are not responding to the situation. And when we have confusion, we don't know how to, what kind of right path to take. So the wholesome and the unwholesome. So the Buddha is giving a very simple formula for wholesome and unwholesome. The wholesome is where you benefit and the other person benefits. The unwholesome is if you are in pain and you have difficulty, or the other person has pain and difficulty. In both the cases, that is considered an unwholesome task or an unwholesome kind of result. So if what you are doing is leading to your pain or the other's pain, you should avoid that.
Thank you, Bhante. Thanking you all.
Is there any other questions regarding meditation or other thing also? You can ask. I think there are no more questions. Okay, then we will share the merits then. May suffering ones be suffering free, and the fear struck fearless be. May the grieving shed all grief, and may all beings find relief. May all beings share this merit that we have thus acquired for the acquisition of all kinds of happiness. May beings inhabiting space and earth, devas and nagas of mighty power, share this merit of ours. May they long protect the Buddha's dispensation. Sadhu, sadhu. One thing I just wanted to say before we leave is that we have a kind of a fundraiser for Hugh. He is coming to India for our Leh retreat. So I'll just share a link if anybody wants to kind of contribute to that effort, then it would be helpful. Okay. So I'll just share this link, and you can copy this link and maybe help Hugh to come to India. We will have 2 retreats, one in Leh and one in near Pune. And near Pune, Hugh will head the retreat. He will be the main teacher in that retreat. So we can help him with the travel cost, and whatever is possible, you can. There is an amount which has been mentioned as a target. You can give a little more also, because there may be incidental expenses or something like that. So this is the link I have shared, and that would help him out. Okay. Sadhu. Then yes, may. Yes, may.